Law 24 of the 48 laws of power through a lens of truth. Law 24, we're halfway there, right? Half of 48. Play the perfect courtier. Let's dive into history, familiarize ourselves with a term that we really no longer use, but there is still a world full of people playing roles, just like courtiers. Courtiers of old were often masters of manipulation, experts at working their schemes within specific rules of behavior required in court. Learn from the courtier's failures and successes and how you can play the perfect courtier and you can rise in any system. Understand, we're learning now that there is but one genuine system, one real pursuit, one true path, one reality, and it stems from the one creator and the one sustainer who has filled the world with expressions, extensions of himself, i.e. you and me, and everybody around you, regardless of the ignorance and darkness that they operate from. Principles of Law 24. According to Law 24 of the 48 laws of power, to thrive in whatever court or environment you're playing for power in, learn the rules and know how to manipulate them. In whatever court or environment that you're playing for power in, you need to know the rules so that you could break them. You ain't got no business playing for power. What is the definition? What is the true definition for playing? To play is to engage in activity for enjoyment and recreation rather than serious or practical purpose. Engaging in activity for enjoyment. If you sat down and really thought about the times that you were playing, typically it comes with an experience that is not enjoyable. One you say you dislike, disgusted with, never wanted to see again. So why you always playing? Even in modern times, a skilled courtier or functionary who can successfully navigate and thrive in the world of power has great power himself. Now, you and I should both know that we do live in the world of power, true power, but we've opted out of an expression inside of the experience of true power that is within us and everyone that we see with a pulse, and even the animals. We have opted for an illusionary expression, an alternate reality, a fictitious fabrication that we have concocted because we believe that it would keep us safe. But all it does is keep us under the impression that we're safe. And it exposes us to the very danger that we're running from. But the 48 laws of power, when speaking of the world of power, is more so talking about the field that you play these games on, where you either win the approval, acceptance, and influence and authority over people, or you lose that battle and you become a subordinate of someone, something, or multiple entities. Crazy thing is, you're a subordinate on your job. Your house may not have order and decency in it. You just may have children that you're supposed to be parenting that oftentimes operate as authoritarians over you, making you a subordinate at home. You're a subordinate in traffic because you're always looking for police. You're a subordinate when you go and patronize anybody's business because you follow the rules that are posted on the door. You're a subordinate everywhere you take your physical body, but you're always under the impression that you are self-controlled, self-sustained, self-maintained, self-fulfilled. You're definitely not walking around calling yourself a subordinate as you yield and submit to the various entities that you have given your authority away to. No. You justify every single time you bend your knees and you tell yourself that you're not really on your knees as you're getting carpet burn. Like, we have really trained the actor, and we have denied our genuine existence as being full expressions, direct reflections of our Father and Creator. It's crazy. That's a terrible trade. I remember when I got into Pokemon, I bumped into my big cousin and I was showing him my collection, and I was super excited just to have in my, I mean, we never played. I ain't never hit nobody with a Pokeball and knocked down their pH or whatever it was, but we collected the cards. We didn't have many nice things, so we really cherished and valued the nice things that we had so much that we might bump into a green relative that don't know nothing about a new industry and field of interest. And man, my cousin had me trade him my holographic Charizard for his Pikachu card, and I traded for the Pikachu card because I didn't have a Pikachu card, and Pikachu was the face of Pokemon, but the card was weak, so if I was battling Pokemon, it was a terrible trade. And the value of the card was so common, I could have went and bought a pack for $1.49 and probably got 2 of them. But I could have bought another 20 packs and not got another holographic Charizard or anything of its equivalence. To my Pokemon players out there, I know we eventually evolved and we playing it on the phone and we out in the yard like actually catching Pokemon, but that wasn't my wave, that wasn't my crave. I was on the Nintendo Game Boy, you feel me, green, blue. Yeah, we had the cars, used to hit books a million, literally, like, go ahead, never mind. Anyway, but that's when you don't know, you only can live based on what you're familiar with. And that's why I made that Pokemon trade, the Pikachu, for the holographic Charizard. Because I didn't even know who Charizard was at the time. And I didn't even know the value of a holographic card. So in my ignorance, I partnered with what I thought was right, and they picked on me for years. But it's cool. Don't brag. Bragging about your achievement stirs up resentment among your peers, as well as backstabbing. If they was gonna backstab you, it's because they wanted to, not because you opened your mouth and said something. I mean, that may be why they told you, or they tell somebody else why they did it, but if they're envious, it's gonna show. And it won't take you doing anything but winning and gaining for yourself material possessions and favor with the divine that someone else doesn't want to see you with. See, jealousy is they want what you have. Envy is they just don't want you to have it. And if they're under the impression that they can't get it for themselves, I can guarantee that they don't want you to have it. That's why It's important that you partner with the truth and the truth alone. So you're not around here envying anybody. I don't care whether it's Drake or the principal from the high school down the road. You're not doing anything and obtaining anything that anybody else can't do. So there's no need for you to brag. And the very things that you've accomplished, the very things that you have obtained, you did by the goodness and the gift that flows through you. It was given to you freely. You can't explain where these ideas and these inklings and these impressions come from. You can't calculate and fathom the path of the whispers that you have followed to the space that you would brag about. So why would you be bragging? Just shut your mouth. Continue to give honor and thanks to the very source of life that is within you, that you have nothing to do with. You can follow as many rules as you please. You can follow the rules, the laws of the land. You can follow the laws of religion, and it still does not qualify you to be more or get more than you were given before you did anything. So it's absolutely asinine for you to get it in your head that it's your works and your acts that have somehow partnered you with the divine and giving you favor. Appear mellow and laid back. When you're working hard, make it look easy so people admire your capability. Remember, here's that weird appetite again for people to admire something. Here's that weird mental activity where I'm giving my attention to what someone else's attention could be, or in my opinion should be given to, and I'm even drafting for them what their opinion of it should be. Telling them what they should think about what I'm doing because it's what I think about it, and it's my intentions, and it's what I think is right. So, I mean, you must be stupid if you're not agreeing with me, right? Be judicious with flattery. Flattering your superiors too much stirs up suspicions about what you want. Employ subtle flattery. For instance, by downplaying your talents to make your superior look good. This is half of our problem right here. You spent so much time downplaying your talents to make your superiors look good out of a fear of offending them and making them suspicious of your statements of flattery that was in reality just you trying to be promoted and being pushed ahead into the same category that they're in, because you don't understand human nature and understand that just like you fear losing your little mediocre position, they fear even more if there was a way for nothing to be more nothing, losing their significant position, just like you. So they guard and protect it with their life. They only allow in it the people that they identify as not a potential threat to their position and their power. They actually only enlist those who play subordinate to their power to get a piece of the power in an attempt to get more power. They never give anybody anything just out of genuine generosity. They don't have a relationship with the divine to understand what was given genuinely to them freely, and understand that anything that they could extend to another being in front of them is crumbs and peanuts compared to what was extended to them. So it's a minor investment, and the return is for the other to experience the same love that you have grown to live in awareness of. about or flattering somebody. If they don't see themselves the way you see them, whether you mean what you say or not, whether it's good or it's amazing, they're not gonna partner with it. They're not gonna take it as being genuine. They're not gonna see it as a gift and a accurate perception of their character. They're going to become suspicious, not because you overdid the flattery. They are suspicious. They live from a seat of fear. They live from assumptions and misdirected opinions that are driven by past experiences that they harbored, that they should have casted out, and they project it onto the present experiences, moving deeper into an experience of darkness and ignorance. Be noticed in a good way. This is a tricky balancing act. If it's tricky, it's not true. If it's tricky, it's not of your nature, because your nature is flow and ease. Your nature is abundant and receive. Your nature is extend and reflect. You want to be noticed without seeming to promote yourself. If you're not noticed, you've no chance to become more powerful. Hey, you got to get their attention. Without them wasting their attention on your desperate attempts to drain their attention so that you'll have more attention, you can't become more powerful, because your attention is the power. Nothing has life until it is given a source. Your source is the creator of the universe. The things that live in your life are sourced by you. God does not keep your miscreations alive. God is not sustaining your illusions. God does not master in the art of catering and presenting your fears. God is not testing you. If God is not to be mocked, and you are made in God's image and likeness, that would mean you're not meant to be mocked. If God is not meant to be tested, and you're made in God's image and likeness, that would mean that you were not created. You are not designed to be tested. And if that's not what you was created for, then why would the Creator spend a lifetime doing such a thing with you? And then grading you on your ability to execute inside of such a silly act, and basing whether you'll spend your eternity after life walking on streets of gold or burning in a lake of fire. Here we go. Adjust your style. Adjust your style and way of speaking to fit the occasion. If you can't adapt to other cultures and circumstances, you'll be ineffective. Just be a chameleon. Just go in a room and analyze everything and everyone as though they are something other than what you are and something apart from yourself. Make a judgment of it and of them. And based on your judgment, create a character, an avatar for yourself to move through this experience so that you can be effective, yielding more power, becoming more powerful on the field of power that you have been playing on. Remember, all of this takes place in the realm of illusion, where The form and shadow of power is the only power that is offered, extended, and utilized. Don't be the bearer of bad news. The cliche about the recipient of bad news killing the messenger is valid. Do whatever you have to do to shift the responsibility for delivering bad news to a colleague. Just be afraid of telling people hard things. Don't tell people the truth when it's not convenient for you, because they very well may persecute, attack, annihilate, destroy you. Again, to do this, you got to partner with a lot of other illusions. You got to believe that your reflection can harm you. But you go look in the mirror all the time and you ain't never put your set up unless you wanted to see yourself throw a punch or something, or your mama had done whooped you and you in the bathroom mad crying and you throwing punches like you finna go stand on business, but you know to sit down. But you've never genuinely prepared yourself for battle going to stand in the mirror in the bathroom, because you know your reflection can't hurt you. But when you're standing in front of other beings, you get it in your head from the illusionary realm that you sit in, that they may be something that you're not, and they may be capable of taking you away from the purpose that you were designed to fulfill. And that's a lot of power to give somebody, and that's a lot of power to forfeit. Do whatever you have to do to shift the responsibility of delivering bad news to a colleague. I told a young person not too long ago, when you're young, you choose your friends based on who tells you what you want to hear, who supports you in whatever you do, whether it's dysfunctional or constructive. Whoever is there for you, whoever is cheering you on in what you want for yourself, that's who you want around. But as you develop and you mature and you become wiser, you actually appreciate keeping people around you that are willing to tell you the hard things. Because if the people around you are afraid to open their mouth and verbalize your partnership with dysfunction, then your blindness will remain intact, and you're going to keep bumping yourself against the wall, knowing that it's time to fall. Don't get overly familiar with your boss. Your boss typically wants a subordinate, not a friend. If he acts friendly towards you, reciprocate, but warily. Otherwise, assume a formal manner. Ain't it crazy how we want people to treat us as equals and we want them to be genuine and honest with us, but we're around them the whole time being suspicious and projecting upon them all of these things. Robert Greene does not know your employer, highly doubtably, So it's up to you to keep a clean canvas when you go in these places, and to create from within yourself a connection and a partnership with these people that you have been operating as a subordinate to, out of the fear of being rejected and being outcasted from places that you think are necessities for your well-being. Don't directly criticize a superior. Sometimes you need to share negative feedback to avoid backlash later, but do it as indirectly and gentle as possible. Much of what's wrong with the world is because people have been trying to be indirect and gentle with truth. And what's crazy is we've never been so considerate when we're extending our dysfunction. I have never, ever seen anyone ask anyone permission before cussing them out. I've very rarely seen in the conversations that take place before a physical altercation, somebody requests permission to punch a face. Hey, put your hands down, please, so I can knock you out. You sound crazy. But you've been so afraid of losing these little spaces of familiarity that keep you from glitching and going back into your expression of fear, paralyzed and suspicious of everything and everybody. Pretending that you know lets you move forward when you don't know that the gift of life comes equipped with flow. You don't need to know what's coming next. You just need to know that whatever is next, you're bigger than, because the one within you is the very sustainer of whatever it is that you are about to get it in your head could possibly cause you harm. Don't ask superiors for favors. Ask for favors only rarely, because having to reject the request will stir guilt and irritation. Try to earn your favors so your boss grants them without you asking. If I earn the favor, it's not a favor, it's compensation. And just because I lie to myself and tell myself that what was given to me as a favor, and I disregard all of the hoops and loops that I jumped through to receive it, it doesn't make it a favor. That makes me a liar. I'm just being honest. If I'm calling it what it's not, then I'm telling a lie. And if I do that on a consistent basis, then it is misleading for one to call me anything other than a liar. Don't joke about appearance. Never joke about your superior's appearance or taste, even outside her presence. It will come back to bite you. Just another OMG, don't do that, because if you do, the consequences gonna be so bad that you might not survive. Be self-aware. Learn to see yourself as others are likely to see you, so you can avoid behavior that others might find offensive. If you ever want to see yourself, if you ever want to know the behaviors that you exhibit that are offensive, just go to Walmart. Not Target, because people act like they got sense in Target. Just hit the store or go home. Home is another great place to run this experiment. If you want to know the offensive things that you exhibit, get around the people that you typically judge. Listen to your judgments in grave detail. And everything that you say of them applies to you. No cap. This allows you to be really self-aware. And when you see the ugliness of yourself in the mirror on a reflection, it's very effective in getting you to put down the toys that nobody has been able to convince you it was time to put away. Control your emotions. Like an actor, learn to disguise your real feelings and produce whatever emotion is required. Control your facial expressions too. Because you don't need nobody thinking nothing about your facial expressions. You don't need nobody forming projections and assumptions based on your facial expressions. People gonna think what they want to think regardless. So you can enjoy the liberty of doing whatever you would like with your face. People are equipped with the ability to communicate. So if there's something that you do with your face, or there's something that you say that they need explained in better detail, if there's something that they have taken offense to, there is something that you need to be mindful of. When you are speaking, you are not responsible for the interpretation of your statement. It is your job to effectively communicate the idea that you are trying to relay to the other person. Be thorough, be transparent, be honest, include as many details as necessary so that when the interpreter is receiving the information, they have the full picture. And if they have a single eye equipped to see truth, then they'll be able to identify what it is that has been put before them in understanding. But if they have not developed such a relationship with I am on the inside, and do the same thing you were doing before you were aware that truth is the way and the only way. Like an actor, learn to disguise your real feelings. What has acting and pretending ever accomplished for you other than draining your attention and causing you to be weak where you were called to be strong? Not a cliche. My attention given to illusions has driven the false expression of life called death. But the gift that was given to me was extended to me so that I could call life and life more abundant to me. And rather than operate inside of my identity and enjoy my gift, I've traded my gift to develop what the law of power says is an art that I must learn and must master, which is acting. Acting is not an art. Acting is acting in the sense of identity. Right? Denzel Washington and everybody else holding it down on the big screen, absolutely. What they are doing is an art. But when you set your life up the way they set up a production, it puts you inside of a false sense of reality, just like a movie. And you watch it scene by scene, write it, cast it, narrate it, but forget, because you're so caught up in the experience of it, and end up blaming other people and looking crazy. Keep up with the times. You don't want to seem like a relic, but you don't want to push the boundaries of new styles and expressions either. You hear all of these spaces in between? Keep up with the times. You don't want to look old school and old fashioned, but you don't want to get too tough. You don't want to get too visionary with it. You don't want to jump out too far ahead, because then they're going to reject you. They're going to reject you if you're old fashioned. They're going to reject you if you're too far out ahead. You got to be just right, and then they're going to accept you. And if I asked 10 people what just right was when it came to fashion and style, it would be 10 absolute completely different answers. Be a joy to be around. Be pleasant so that others enjoy being around you. If you can't be thoroughly charming, at least minimize your less stellar qualities. All of us are charming. Everybody is charming. My mama ain't make no ugly kids. You know, that's what we say down here on earth. Our daddy ain't make no messed up children. All of us were created perfect. All of us have the ability to influence, edify, enrich, enlighten, enlarge, increase. But if people knew who they were and they knew the path that they were designed for, one, your attempts to utilize the goodness in you to gain control and influence and rapport with them for your own benefit wouldn't even be a thing. And even if it was, if they knew that they were one with I am eternally, and there was nothing that you can add or subtract from them, they wouldn't waste their time trying to charm you, and your charming acts wouldn't work either.